For the last 35 years, I have worked in prison ministry in some capacity or other, both in Los Angeles and in Seattle, Washington. About 10 years ago now, a group of religious from different denominations went to the women's prison in Chowchilla. And our intent was to ask the women what we as faith communities could do for them. We felt that we were not doing enough, and there were 8,000 women in Chowchilla, and it's a very isolated location in the middle of the state of California. So we thought that maybe we should go and listen in to what we thought they might need. And because all of us were leaders in some fashion or other, we had ideas, and as we were driving up in the car, the ideas were spilling out, you know, we could do this, and how about that, and then we arrived at the prison, and they had gathered a large group of women, and someone introduced us, and they said, you know, what is it that we can do for you? And that's what we're here for. And the first woman started, and she said, you've got to help us, you've got to help us. We never see our children, you've got to help us. And she started to cry, and she said, I've got to touch my child, I just have to. And then the next woman started, and the mantra just picked up in the room. You know, our mothers have our children, or our children are in different homes. It's very difficult for the caregiver to drive, or to have a car, or to make the long trip with a car full of children. And it just made it prohibitive. That was all they wanted of us. So when we came back to Los Angeles and had our follow-up meeting, I said, this is, you know, what they want, and I think we could get a bus. So we started calling all the nuns we knew and saying, send money, because we have to have this bus. Well, we had 9 families with 17 children, and they had not seen their mothers between 4 and 9 years. I'll never forget that year because, of course, it was the first time, and the children were shocked that they were actually going. They found it very hard to believe till the bus drove up. And when those children came into the visiting room, they had the 9 mothers sitting at tables. And when the children came through the door, the mothers got up and the kids started running, and they embraced and sobbed and cried. I'm telling you, the media could barely focus on what they were doing because everyone in the room was in tears. Well, the next year, the prison next door wanted to run the program, and so there were 3 buses, and then there were 5, and then there were 8, and this year there will be 50 buses with 1,000 children going to prisons on Mother's and Father's Day. I wasn't trying to start anything. I was trying to just provide one bus in response to a need. And if you were sitting there with these women all sobbing, saying, help me, I'm telling you, you would have done it too. Anyone in the room was sold that they were going to do this because this was such a tremendous need. And you know, many of these children can't even talk to their parents on the phone because the phone calls are $15 for 15 minutes, collect from a prison.
We get the kids up very early in the morning so that they load the bus at 4:30. Most of the time the kids and the caregivers that go with them are sleeping, so we provide them with blankets and pillows. And then we provide them with breakfast on the bus. And after about 5 hours, we get to the prison. We all go in together, and then they call the inmates out by the child being there. And the mother will come in, and you can see their eyes, that they just light up when they see each other, and a lot of times they'll run to each other. And they get to spend 3 hours with their mothers. And then once the 3 hours is up, after they've eaten lunch and face painted and taken pictures with each other, they have to leave, and that's the part I don't like. and then we make the long walk back out to the buses, get on the bus, and we try to make sure that their trip on the way back is a lot more joyous, because it's hard. They've just been through something that they get to see their moms, and it's great. I like to see kids who are happy. You know, this is a situation that most of the time isn't happy, and this is a time that we can just put some of that in their lives. Last year, it was the first time we've gotten off the bus at the prison, and the warden and all of the staff was outside greeting us and shaking our hands, because they've discovered that what happens is families who get to visit with the inmates, the kids do better in school, and the inmates stay out of prison. Once they get out, they don't go back as often. So I think everybody's on board with the program because it works. It just really works.
I recall one woman who was seeing her daughter for the first time in 9 years. The daughter was in a placement, and she was going into the Army the following year. She was 17. And the mother held her and stroked her hair as if she were a little girl. And that girl did go into the Army, and that mother did get released from prison, and she got a very menial job, but every month I got a 10% check from her salary for 1 year in gratefulness for what we had done.
Just remember, it's about the kids. You know, a lot of times the focus gets tried to be pulled away to the inmates. It's about the kids, and that's why we do it.